Welcome to Book Summaries. Dear friends, there are 6 ways rich people make money through debt that the poor need to know. I am Book Summaries, where you can change your financial life through videos that share financial advice, tips, and wealth-building mindsets. You know, debt, which is likened to a double-edged sword, holds the power to create incredible wealth or push you to the brink of bankruptcy overnight. The mystery behind money and numbers is an art of financial management that not everyone can grasp. In the vast financial landscape, there is a segment where the wealthy know how to turn debt into a tool for profit, a secret kept hidden in the corridors of power and wealth. We will delve into this world, exploring how financial masters not only manage debt but also use it as a stepping stone to achieve financial success. You will be introduced to a new perspective where debt is no longer a burden but becomes a powerful resource, awakening investment potential and expanding asset scale. We will guide you through stories and analyses from top investors who have transformed enormous amounts of debt into financial empires. You will learn about the processes, strategies, and mindset behind each financial decision, from borrowing at low interest rates to investing in high-return projects, from expanding businesses to optimizing taxes. This journey is not just an educational path on finance but also an exploratory adventure where you will meet outstanding individuals who have turned debt into assets and transformed their lives. Join us to explore, learn, and apply these secrets to write your own success story in this world full of opportunities and challenges. Lesson 1. The rich build empires. The story of debt is not new. It dates back to the 1800s when John D. Rockefeller was conducting business with the equivalent of $400 billion today. John D. Rockefeller was not born into a wealthy family. He was the son of a farmer and dropped out of high school. Despite these humble beginnings, he became the richest American ever, surpassing even Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, and Elon Musk combined. John D. Rockefeller was not exceptional in school because the educational system did not teach about money. However, when he worked as an accounting clerk, he learned about the business world inside and out. He understood that he could build a massive fortune if he started with initial capital. Thus, he began with a small agricultural business, borrowing $1,000 from his father, which was his first debt. This initial debt helped him establish a strong position in the business world. Within 2 years, he earned $17,000 in profit. During this period, the oil industry was showing an upward trend, creating a market for kerosene. However, extracting kerosene from coal was a challenging task, and the cost of containers was high. John D. Rockefeller used gasoline instead of coal and produced containers in-house at a fraction of the cost. Such innovative techniques earned him the trust of banks and lenders, who began to offer him loans on more favorable terms. This marked a complete turnaround for John D. Rockefeller. He strategically used debt to acquire smaller competitors, creating a monopoly in the oil industry. This monopoly allowed him to secure large discounts from railroad companies, enabling him to transport oil at a lower cost. As a result, even low-income households could afford it. By the 1870s, the farmer's son had become a millionaire by the age of 31, and his company, Standard Oil, was refining 90% of the oil in the entire United States. What is most noteworthy about John D. Rockefeller is that he always repaid his debts on time but was never hesitant to borrow when he saw growth opportunities. Lesson 2. The rich do not receive salaries. Yes, while we all hear about expensive cars and luxurious vacations in million-dollar villas, the wealthy around the world spend their money on less-known things. The truth is, few people realize that they don't pay for all these things from their salaries. In 2021, billionaire Elon Musk revealed the secret behind his lavish lifestyle through his post, "I only have stock, so the only way for me to personally pay taxes is to sell stock. While ordinary Twitter users might skim over such announcements, very few understand how to read between the lines of these metaphorical messages. Elon Musk doesn't receive a salary, but he owns Tesla stock worth billions of dollars. However, he also doesn't sell it, and he continues to live the lifestyle he does. The secret is that he borrows money based on his stock and lives off that debt, which provides him with a dual benefit. Firstly, it prevents him from paying taxes because debt, which is borrowed money, is not taxable, even though it remains in his bank account and he can spend it as he wishes. Secondly, he does not actually sell his Tesla shares because selling them would incur income tax. Instead, he uses the shares as collateral to borrow funds. Some even refer to this as a forever green credit line. So, suppose he borrows at an interest rate of 6%, the only thing he needs to ensure is that Tesla grows by at least 6%. When he needs to repay the debt, he borrows another amount based on the shares and repays the first loan. This cycle continues, and Elon Musk lives a life that all of us can only dream of. Lesson 3. The rich love real estate. While ordinary people don't consider paying off a mortgage, the rich borrow money to buy many properties around the world. Interestingly, they don't live in these properties themselves. Another surprising fact is that, despite having billions of dollars in net worth, they still borrow money to purchase real estate worth only millions of dollars. For example, Elon Musk borrowed $61 million to buy 5 homes in California in 2018, even though he could have paid for them in full. What ordinary people often miss in this process is that they only borrow money when they need to buy something they cannot afford. However, the rich borrow money even when they can pay in cash. The main reason behind this is that debt is not taxable. Therefore, understand the game of real estate. Suppose you find a property worth $1 million, you borrow 80% from the bank and raise 20% from investors. Assume your annual debt payment is $100,000, and the property maintenance cost is $20,000. Thus, your total expenses amount to $120,000. Now, if you can rent out the property for $140,000, you could earn a profit of $20,000 without using any of your own money. The best part of this income is that you don't have to pay any taxes on it. This is because you are allowed to depreciate your property annually. Depreciation is not an actual cash expense but a wear and tear cost that you are legally allowed to deduct from your income. In our example, you can depreciate the building at the industry standard depreciation rate. The most common real estate depreciation rate is 1/39th, which means depreciating $1 million over 39 years results in $25,641 per year. Since the depreciation exceeds your income of $20,000, you would report a tax loss of $561,000 while still having $20,000 in your bank account to spend as you wish. Lesson 4. The rich do not confuse issues. When Elon Musk decided to buy Twitter, he borrowed $13 billion, despite his net worth of nearly $250 billion. This might seem unusual to an ordinary person. After all, with $250 billion, you would think you could spend $13 billion without issue. However, borrowing money for such a deal is a well-considered strategy. Such transactions are known as leveraged buyouts, LBOs. In an LBO, the borrowed funds are secured by the assets of the company being acquired, in this case, Twitter. Therefore, lenders expect that the acquired company will generate profits and positive cash flow in the future to repay the debt. Elon Musk bought Twitter not only because he saw it as another profitable business, but also because he viewed it as his way to drive social change and protect free speech. However, This also means that Elon Musk has some doubts about Twitter's profitability. Thus, buying it with leverage makes more sense if Twitter generates revenue. Elon Musk stands to gain significantly from this. However, if Twitter fails, Elon Musk's risk is limited to the equity he owns in the company. Lenders cannot require Elon Musk to repay personal debts. They can only recover the loan by selling Twitter's assets. Only time will tell if these assets will be sufficient to cover the debt. By borrowing money, Elon Musk has ensured that his personal assets are protected, and all his businesses maintain separate legal entities. Lenders cannot demand that he sell his $94 billion stake in Tesla if Twitter fails, and he can continue to live his luxurious lifestyle. Lesson 5. The wealthy create liquidity. Rich people love buying assets and holding onto them forever. They prefer passing these assets down to their children, knowing that their value will certainly increase. They prioritize protecting their family over living debt-free. However, this does not mean they will pass up any billion-dollar investment opportunities that arise. Although their money is invested in illiquid assets, they create liquidity through borrowing and seizing attractive business opportunities. In April 2023, Dhirubhai Ambani, chairman of Reliance Industries, took out the largest loan in the history of Indian business. Mr. Dhirubhai Ambani borrowed $5.5 billion to roll out a nationwide 5G network in India. However, $5.5 billion accounts for less than 7% of his total net worth of $82 billion. Mr. Dhirubhai Ambani's 27-story villa in Antilia is worth $2 billion, and he owns real estate around the world. By leveraging just a few of these properties, he could easily finance the 5G rollout without needing to borrow. However, he still borrowed money because he wanted to leave assets for his 3 children, Akash, Aisha, and Anand. With the potential to contribute 2% to India's GDP by 2030, the rollout of 5G could lead to an economic growth of $180 billion. No one understands this better than Dhirubhai Ambani, the founder of the telecommunications conglomerate. Therefore, abandoning such an opportunity due to a lack of liquidity is not a decision you would expect from him. He would rather borrow money now and repay it from the future profits of 5G than sit back and watch other telecommunications companies take over his market share. Lesson 6. The wealthy inflate their debts. In 2012, when Mark Zuckerberg took out a mortgage, he secured an interest rate of just 1.05%, while the average mortgage rate at the time was around 2.76%. If you're wondering why Mark Zuckerberg received such a favorable interest rate, you should know that he had a net worth of $15.6 billion at that time, and banks had no doubts about his ability to repay the loan. Therefore, with low risk, when lending to Mark Zuckerberg, banks can reduce the interest rates for him. It is widely known that the higher the net worth or the better the credit score, the lower the borrowing rate. However, many people overlook what Mark Zuckerberg actually gained from this deal. First, he moved into the house he immediately loved and will continue to live there as long as he wants. Second, he invested his money into high-return investments, which will yield enormous profits for him even after paying interest on the debt. Third, he will repay the house over the next 30 years, when the actual value of these payments will be only a fraction of their current value due to inflation. By not tying up capital from the start, he has seized high-return investment opportunities, deferred expenses, and reduced his costs to a fraction of the terms adjusted for inflation. Yes, those were 6 ways that wealthy people use to make money from debt, and below are the ways that rich people leverage others' resources to become wealthy. In your opinion, if we lack money, connections, or support, what should we do to achieve breakthrough success in life? Dear friends, for wealthy people, earning money is essentially a matter of mindset. Instead of working hard, they know how to leverage the resources around them to achieve their goals quickly and effectively. This is what we call the principle of leveraging others to succeed and become wealthy, much like how Zhu Liang borrowed arrows from Cao Cao or utilized the eastern wind to defeat Cao Cao's 830,000 troops with only 50,000 of his own soldiers. In this video, we will discuss the principle of leveraging others' strengths to achieve success. But before we get into the rules of leveraging power, you must understand that you need to be someone who can effectively control and manage the power you are borrowing. To do this, you must first be a strong force yourself, with knowledge, intelligence, and experience. The reason you need to borrow power is that you lack resources, so the first step in leveraging is to harness your own internal strength. Continuously focus, train, learn, innovate, and work on developing your own inner strength. While developing your own power, you should also borrow power to accelerate your growth through books, videos, your boss, and others you meet. Aim for things that have accumulated experience over decades to acquire knowledge and experience as quickly as possible. Learning from the successes and failures of others is always cheaper and faster. You will find that you can progress more quickly by leveraging the resources available in your life. In just 10 minutes, after watching this video, instead of doing everything on your own as you did before, you will learn how to use external resources to free up your labor and change your life. Lesson 1. Leveraging your own strength. You've probably heard the proverbs, "Many small things make a great whole," or "A gust of wind can turn into a storm." These are concise proverbs, but they convey a very meaningful message. Many small things make a great whole means accumulating small things to create something larger. This is about leveraging your own strength, accumulating over time. You need to save up gradually, from small assets to larger ones, including knowledge, skills, and relationships, waiting for the right opportunity to achieve great results. In these proverbs, it is a metaphor for gathering and accumulating wealth, knowledge, skills, lifestyle, and behavior. Success is the result obtained after continuous accumulation and is also a metaphor for having sufficient material resources or life experience. Just like the saying, "A gust of wind can turn into a storm," many small winds combined can create a big storm. The proverb, "Many small things make a great whole," also emphasizes that with diligent accumulation, you will eventually achieve perfect results. Throughout the process of accumulation, you will become aware that everything you do has meaningful goals, and small successes will add up to major achievements. Lesson 2. Borrowing financial leverage from banks, friends, and partners. To achieve life goals, it is well understood that a solid financial foundation is indispensable. However, not everyone has abundant resources. Therefore, using financial leverage wisely can bring success to many people. Borrowing money from others allows you to use it as leverage for your business activities, whether for buying or selling in larger quantities than you could otherwise, given the limitations of your own financial resources. This is the main reason to use credit cards in business and investment. Your ability to access other people's money can be a crucial factor in your success. However, to utilize this resource effectively, you need to have the knowledge to assess the risks and potential outcomes. You must control the risks and understand what the worst-case scenario might look like. Skilled individuals anticipate potential risks. Recently, we have seen many people who borrowed money from banks to invest in real estate or stocks, only to find themselves overwhelmed by interest debt, unable to liquidate real estate, or facing significant stock market declines. This often leads to an inability to handle bank interest or to repay debts on time, forcing them to sell assets at a loss to cover their obligations. Their mistake was not in borrowing from banks or other sources but in the timing and position of their investments. Moreover, you must have a steady monthly cash flow from a sustainable business to use financial leverage effectively. Otherwise, you are merely gambling with your future. Lesson 3. Leverage technology and the Internet. You have probably heard the famous saying by billionaire Bill Gates that in 5 to 10 years, if you are not doing business online, you might as well not do business at all. Bill Gates said this in 2007, which means that as of now, it has been 15 years since his statement. We now have a perfect answer. During this time, the leverage of technology through the Internet has proven to be crucial. If you want to succeed quickly and make breakthroughs, you must learn how to apply this resource. Using technology to increase efficiency and productivity can help you reduce costs and boost profits. For example, you can leverage technology to implement a CRM system. A CRM system can help you manage customer relationships more effectively, thereby increasing sales and profits. Alternatively, you can use technology to build automated sales systems that reach more potential customers at a lower cost. Automated sales activities can free up labor and improve work efficiency. As technology advances, it can create classic products that enable people to complete tasks many times faster and automate many processes. Particularly, there are many free tools available that allow a homemaker to earn millions on social media platforms, and enable farmers to sell products worldwide through live streams. Technology improves connectivity, and if you know how to utilize online technology, you can earn money from anywhere. This is essential if you want to succeed in the present day. Lesson 4. Standing on the shoulders of giants. If your strength is not yet robust, use this strategy. For example, if you want to build an online store but investing in a fully functional website with complete buying and selling features takes a lot of time and money, instead, you can set up shops on existing e-commerce platforms like Shopee, Lazada, TikTok, or Tiki. You just need to list your products and focus on marketing. The other processes are handled by the platform system. This is akin to borrowing the strength of giants. Alternatively, you can create videos on YouTube or TikTok, which receive billions of visits daily. These are enormous resources of the giants. However, remember that to succeed on any platform, what you offer to customers must be your own value. So, the first thing I've reminded you of is to develop yourself first. Lesson 5. Leveraging the power of those around you. The people around you have numerous connections of their own. If you follow this network, you can get to know the whole world. Therefore, if you want to know something, ask. If you need help, just ask for it. Many people have valuable knowledge and insights they are willing to share. There's no need for pride or to remain in poverty. Instead, expand your network to effectively utilize this resource. This resource includes seeking help or advice from others, as well as leveraging their time, knowledge, skills, and experience. This requires the ability to seek guidance and make use of others' knowledge to gain new information and ideas. By developing your own abilities to harness the efforts, knowledge, and resources of others, you can accomplish more in the same amount of time. This helps you progress faster and further compared to relying solely on your own efforts and resources. This concept is known as the leverage of other people's resources. We are living in an era of fast-paced life, where everything happens very quickly and changes rapidly. If you are not wealthy and lack connections, you need to rely on yourself first before you can leverage others. Society is increasingly divided between the rich and the poor, and opportunities for ordinary people are becoming scarce. Once you are poor, it often feels like a lifelong struggle. If you do not make an effort today, you won't need to talk about it tomorrow. Below, The book summary will share 3 stories about how wealthy people leverage resources to earn money, achieve more with less effort, and utilize both human and material resources to reach their goals. Story 1. Integrating the resources around you. A boy was trying to move a large stone in the yard. His father stood by, encouraging him, "Try to move the stone out there." But the stone was too heavy, and the child couldn't move it. He said to his father, "The stone is too heavy. I've tried my best, but I still can't move it." The father calmly replied, "You may have tried your best, but you haven't utilized everything around you. Why don't you ask for my help, or use the iron bar that's here? You could use the bar to lift the stone." Although the story is brief, if we reflect on it, we might find that we are like the boy. Typically, we evaluate whether something can be done based on our own abilities. In reality, no one says you can only use your own strength to achieve results. Many successful people didn't achieve their success solely because of their own capabilities, but because they were able to leverage more resources around them. This is the lesson about integrating the resources around you. Story 2. The Straw Boat Borrowing Arrows. In the classic work Romance of the Three Kingdoms, Kong Ming, Zhu Liang, was supported by his rival. The story unfolds with the character Zhou Yu demanding that Jia Zhu, Zhu Liang, create 100,000 arrows in preparation for battle. One day, Zhou Yu instructed Jia Zhu to produce 100,000 arrows, a seemingly impossible task within 3 days. However, Jia Zhu calmly replied that he could complete the task within 3 days. No one expected that Kong Ming would not only fulfill the request without having to make the arrows himself but would cleverly borrow all of them from the rival Cao Cao. At that time, he used 20 boats, filled with straw dummies, to simulate an attack on Cao Cao's camp. Cao Cao, who was quite suspicious, fell for the ruse. He ordered his archers to shoot arrows in large quantities at the enemy boats, even continuously resupplying with crossbows and arrows. As a result, the arrows all hit the straw dummies on the boats. Within less than an hour, Jia Zhu collected all 100,000 arrows and even had a few thousand extra arrows to give Zhou Yu. Zhou Yu was left astonished and amazed by Jia Zhu's abilities. This is the famous straw boat borrowing arrows strategy from the Three Kingdoms era. Story 3. The Poor Man and the Rich Man. This story is about a poor man who came to weep sorrowfully before the Buddha, complaining that he had insufficient food to eat and inadequate clothing to keep warm. He described how hard his life was, crying for a while. Suddenly, he began to lament how unfair society was, questioning why the rich people lived comfortably and leisurely every day, while the poor had to endure suffering day after day. The Buddha responded, "So what do you think would be fair?" The poor man quickly replied, "Let the rich people do the same work that I have to do. If they still become rich, I will stop complaining and have no more objections." The Buddha agreed and transformed a rich person into a poor one. Just like a poor person, every day this rich man had to go to a mountain to mine coal. The coal mined each day could be taken to the market to be sold in order to buy food. The coal mountain would be mined within a month. The poor man and the rich man worked together. The poor man was used to heavy labor, so mining coal was as easy for him as eating a piece of cake. Before long, he had mined a cart of coal and took it to the market to sell for money. He used that money to buy a lot of food and delicious drinks. The remaining amount of money was barely anything. In contrast, the rich man, who had never done heavy work before, sweat profusely and became exhausted after just a short time of mining. By evening, the rich man sold the coal and then bought a few leftover buns to satisfy his hunger. He saved the remaining money. The next day, the poor man woke up early again and began to dig for coal. Meanwhile, the rich man went to the market and hired 2 strong men to dig coal for him while he supervised. In just one morning, the rich man had several loads of coal and continued to sell them at the market. He then hired more workers to dig coal for him. A month quickly passed, and the poor man had only managed to dig a small part of the coal mountain. The money he earned daily was spent immediately, and he barely saved anything. In contrast, the rich man had become a major boss, commanding a team of workers to excavate the entire coal mountain and earned a lot of money. This illustrates that success is not about how many tasks you can accomplish on your own, but rather how many tasks you can achieve with the help of others. Leveraging others' efforts is not only a skill but also a form of courage and intelligence. Recently, I shared the 5 principles of leveraging wealth. The first principle is to develop oneself first, gradually accumulating small gains to leverage one's own power. The second principle is to leverage other people's money, which means using other people's financial resources to invest and grow. The third principle is to leverage technology, which involves utilizing modern technologies to enhance work performance and optimize business processes. The fourth principle is to leverage the giant's shoulders, meaning taking advantage of the benefits and support from successful individuals in their fields. Finally, the fifth principle is to leverage those around you by utilizing relationships and community support to achieve your goals and success. 3 meaningful stories about leveraging others' resources to succeed highlight these principles. Try to listen and understand them, then apply them in real-life situations to change your life. Book summary wishes you success.